The Chicago Bears may actually have a real chance at acquiring star quarterback Russell Wilson this offseason because of a number of new developments, including the Seattle Seahawks actually taking phone calls regarding star quarterback Russell Wilson, the Bears reportedly prioritizing trading for Russell Wilson, including, being willing to give up practically anything on their roster, and heavy draft capital as well. And also Russell Wilson reportedly actually likes the Bears' emerging offensive line, head coach Matt Nagy, and the intriguing market in Chicago. What's up, Bears fans? I'm back with another Chicago Bears update video. Some more Russell Wilson news I promised I would give you guys if I ever got any. And yes, we got a lot of Russell Wilson news to talk about. I'll break down everything I said in the beginning of this video, one by one, talking about what it means for the Bears and what it means for our chances at getting Russell Wilson. Because right now, guys, I'll be honest, people are starting to get excited about the possibility of Russell Wilson being a Chicago Bear, and the reason why is because a lot of credible people are reporting that this might actually happen. Okay, the signs of a rift in Seattle are real. Okay, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, they have differences that might not be settled this offseason. Okay, they might want a divorce. They might want to ship off Russell Wilson if things do not get better. And guys, the thing about all the rumors before with the Bears, okay, we've been linked to practically every single quarterback out there on the market right now, but none of those rumors had as many credible people linking that quarterback to us. Okay, think about the Carson Wentz rumors, for example. Like a couple weeks ago, we were linked to be getting Carson Wentz, but those rumors came from random people on Twitter that claimed they had inside sources. Nobody actually credible in the media, from a newspaper, for example, claimed that the Bears actually gave out an offer for Carson Wentz. And obviously in the end, the Colts got Carson Wentz because they were the only ones that actually made out an offer for Carson Wentz. Okay, the Bears never really had that much interest, which is why I'm also not making a ton of videos recently, because I'm not going to make a video on every single rumor regarding the Bears, because 95% of these rumors are just BS, guys. Like, to be honest, they're made by people that want clicks, that want attention, that are just making stuff up out of thin air because, they can, okay, and they have the following. But I'm not going to make a video covering all of those things unless, there's actually credible people behind those rumors, which in this case, in the case of Russell Wilson, there are multiple credible people in the media actually saying that this thing has a chance of happening, and also linking Russell Wilson to the Chicago Bears. Okay, people that work at ESPN, Chicago Tribune, Chicago Sun-Times, okay, people in the real media that have experience with this stuff, that have broken a lot of correct news in the past, they think this thing actually has a real chance of happening, and Russell Wilson might actually have a real chance of being a Chicago Bear next season. Alright, so let's kind of break down everything I said at the beginning of my video one by one. So obviously the first bit of news I talked about was the Seattle Seahawks now reportedly taking phone calls regarding quarterback Russell Wilson. Okay, actually entertaining trade offers, which is a big freaking deal because just a couple weeks ago, they were not even entertaining the idea of trading Russell Wilson. Okay, even though Wilson went public with his, disgust with the Seattle Seahawks front office, even though he went, on interviews talking about how much, he kind of hated that the Seattle Seahawks were not giving him a voice in personnel decisions, in offensive game planning. He talked about also storming out of, a meeting last year, a couple meetings actually last year, even though he talked about all that and there were signs of, a rift in Seattle and people were actually making offers a couple weeks ago. The Seattle Seahawks were not actually entertaining those offers, okay? They were not even willing to pick up the phone. But now, according to ESPN's Diana Russini, they're listening to all offers regarding Russell Wilson. They're actually picking up the phone and talking to other teams about the possibility of trading Russell Wilson to them. That is a big deal because, guys, in the NFL, there are certain people in your franchise that you never take offers for, okay? If you have a star quarterback, especially a future Hall of Fame quarterback that is the backbone of your entire franchise, the reason why you guys are even relevant in the first place, you usually do not take offers on that guy, even though a lot of people obviously around the NFL want that guy because they realize that guy is too important to your team, okay? The Seattle Seahawks realize that if they trade Russell Wilson, they're going to be irrelevant for a really long time, okay? There's a really small percentage chance they get any quarterback even half as good as Russell Wilson in the future because star quarterbacks are really hard to find in the NFL, like us Bears fans know too well. So obviously, they're not going to want to trade Russell Wilson, unless this thing actually gets completely out of hand, okay? Unless they cannot rebuild this relationship. But if they're even willing to entertain the idea of trading him, picking up the phone, then they might think this thing is irreparable this offseason. Russell Wilson actually has a list of teams that he wants to be traded to, and the Seattle Seahawks are actually entertaining phone calls from these teams. This is not a sign of a healthy relationship, okay? Think about you and your spouse, for example, okay? Or if you're dating somebody. If you're significant other came to you with a list of people that he or she wants to cheat with, would you actually entertain the idea of, your boyfriend or girlfriend cheating with that person? No, you would not. And you would definitely not pick up the phone and call those people and tell them yourself, hey, my boyfriend or girlfriend wants to be with you, okay? You want to make it happen? Like, that's not how a healthy relationship actually works. And that's what's happening in Seattle right now, okay? The situation is getting pretty ugly. Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson, they might have problems that might be irreparable at this point, okay? Otherwise, why would they even think about trading their future Hall of Fame quarterback, okay? A top 5 quarterback in the game right now. So there's definitely a chance that Russell Wilson might be traded this offseason. But why to the Bears? Because Russell Wilson actually wants to be a Chicago Bear, and the Chicago Bears are willing to do whatever it takes to get Russell Wilson in a Bears uniform, reportedly. So let's talk about the first part of what I said there. So why does Russell Wilson want to be a Chicago Bear? It's surprising to a lot of people because, if you look at the Bears right now, we have questions on the offensive line. We have a play caller that a lot of people in the Bears organization, maybe not in the Bears organization, but in the Bears fan base, do not have a lot of faith in. And we kind of fell apart the last 2 years on offense. Okay, our offense continues to get worse every single year. So why would Russell Wilson want to go to that team? Well, it's because he views the situation a lot differently than us fans do. Okay, he actually likes the Bears' emerging offensive line. He likes head coach Matt Nagy, and he also likes the big market in Chicago. That was a big surprise to me when I first read it. I was like, how could anybody actually want to play behind the Bears offensive line? Why would anybody actually want to play for Matt Nagy? But if a future Hall of Fame quarterback in Russell Wilson is saying these things, reportedly according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, I'm not going to question him because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback that knows a lot more about the game than you do or than I do. So maybe if he sees something there is actually something there. And if you look at the Bears offensive line to begin the year and to end the year, it is true that they were a lot better than in the middle of the season. And also from 2019, okay, in the beginning and end of the 2020 season, they were playing at a pretty decent level. I'm not going to go out there and call them elite or anything or even good, but they were playing at a pretty average level when Mitchell Trubisky was in those games. Okay, you think about our stretch to end the year, we were scoring a lot of points because partly our offensive line was playing really good. We had guys in the interior like Sam Mustipher, Cody Whitehair, Alex Bars step up. So if those guys can continue to, develop next year, and we also have James Daniels coming back, which is a big boost. Obviously, he's one of our best guys in the interior. Our interior actually could be a pretty solid unit. I'm still kind of worried about our tackles, obviously, because I think Massey is going to be cut for sure because he's injury prone. He has a big salary cap hit. So we're probably going to draft a new tackle or maybe sign a new tackle in free agency on the right side. But on the left side, I don't see any way in which Charles Leno is leaving this team this year because it's just financially probably not possible. We don't have a lot of money to spend, so Charles Leno's most likely going to be on this team for next year. So that's a sign of weakness probably on the offensive line for next year. But if Russell Wilson likes the rest of the offensive line, I'm not going to question him, okay? He did say it's an emerging offensive line, so he realizes it's not a good product right now, but he does think it has a lot of potential in the future, okay? If we draft a couple more guys, if our guys continue to develop, it could be a pretty decent O-line next season for Russell Wilson. And obviously, his entire time in Seattle, he had bad linemen to work with practically every single year. So anything is going to be an upgrade over the line he had in Seattle, even the Bears' offensive line right now. Russell Wilson also reportedly likes Matt Nagy as an offensive mind to work with, which is pretty surprising to a lot of us Bears fans because we saw what Matt Nagy did with Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles, and obviously the results were not great at all, guys. Okay, he was hired to be an offensive guru, and our offenses during his 3 years in Chicago have sucked practically every single year, besides for one season in 2018, which even in that season, a lot of the success in offense was due to our defense giving us great field position. So, Matt Nagy has never really had a great offense here in Chicago, but a lot of people around the league, and maybe Russell Wilson as well, are thinking that he did not have great quarterback talent to work with. And in the NFL, you need great quarterback talent to actually win games and have a great offense. Now, I know a lot of people think that, hey, Matt Nagy ruined Mitch Trubisky, which may be true to some extent, but I also think that, guys, Mitch Trubisky does not have a great reputation right now among the NFL. There's not other teams like jumping up and down to sign Mitchell Trubisky this offseason, even though he is a free agent, because he simply was not that good for us the past 3 years. And I know a lot of that had to do with bad O-line play, bad play calling as well, but you cannot discount the fact that Mitch Trubisky himself was a pretty poor quarterback as well, especially the past 2 years. And also, if you look at Nick Foles, he was a backup level quarterback for most of his time in the NFL. So I guess there's an argument to be made that, hey, Matt Nagy did not have the best quarterbacks to work with, which is why his offenses might have been this bad. Now, I don't know if I fully agree with that assessment because I feel like he could have done a lot more with Mitch Trubisky than what he did already. So I still do not have the most faith in Matt Nagy. But if Russell Wilson does, like, that's all I need to hear. Okay, if he has faith in Matt Nagy, then I'm willing to give him one more chance with a good quarterback. And if you look at a lot of the coaches in the NFL right now, like, who are they without the star quarterback? Who is Matt LaFleur without Aaron Rodgers? Okay, if you look at his time as an offensive coordinator, he was very bad back then, but once he got Aaron Rodgers, he became one of the best coaches in the NFL. If you look at Pete Carroll, he got fired twice. He was a losing coach before getting Russell Wilson, but once they got Russell Wilson, he became a winning coach and probably a Hall of Famer. If you look at other guys like Andy Reid before Patrick Mahomes, you know, Bill Belichick right now without Tom Brady, it's really hard to win in this league without a star quarterback. Now, obviously, I think Matt Nagy has a ton of limitations as a coach and play caller, but hey, if Russell Wilson sees something in him, then I'm going to try to trust him on this one. And lastly, let's talk about Russell Wilson liking the big market in Chicago, which should not be a surprise to anybody really. Like, that's probably one of the major reasons he even wants to go to the Bears because, guys, Russell Wilson knows that the second he touches down in Chicago, he will be the best quarterback in franchise history without even playing a single snap of football because that's how bad our quarterbacks have been here in Chicago. We are a quarterback-starved city, an offensive-starved city, and if we actually get a star quarterback like Russell Wilson, probably a top 5, top 10 quarterback in NFL history, this entire city is going to lose their minds, okay? The second his plane touches down, there's going to be parades, there's going to be parties, there's going to be cheering, there's going to be crying, you know, happy tears of joy because all I've ever wanted my entire life as a Bears fan is a star quarterback on my team, okay? I've always prayed for the day that I could brag about my quarterback to my friends. I could be like, hey, my quarterback is better than yours, but I've never been able to say that as a Bears fan. So if we could finally say that, you know, if we could finally have faith in our quarterback outplaying the other quarterback any given Sunday, man, I don't even know how the city is going to react to that, okay? We're going to be completely losing our minds because, guys, again, Chicago is a football city. I know our other sports, you know, we've had more success in other sports, like the Bulls have had way more success, you know, Blackhawks obviously as well. Baseball, not so much, maybe Cubs recently, but no matter how much success the other sports have in Chicago, Chicago will always be a football city first, okay? We talk about the 85 Bears every single day, even though that was like 35 years ago. So if Russell Wilson can actually win a Super Bowl in Chicago and be a star quarterback for us, that is going to boost his legacy in a way that nothing else could. And Russell Wilson himself knows that, which is why he wants to be a Chicago Bear. And the last bit of news I want to talk about was, according to Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune, the Chicago Bears will do whatever it takes to trade for Russell Wilson, and they will be prioritizing trading for Russell Wilson this offseason, which should not be a surprise to anybody at all, okay? We are extremely lucky that Russell Wilson actually wants to come here, so obviously the Bears are going to do whatever it takes to get him in a Bears uniform. No player is untouchable on the roster right now. Yes, that includes guys like Khalil Mack or Roquan Smith or Kyle Fuller or Darnell Mooney. Like, anybody on this roster could be traded in a deal for Russell Wilson, along with probably at least 3 first-round picks, because that's the type of quarterback that Russell Wilson is. Okay, star quarterbacks of his caliber do not become available very often at all. This is like a once-in-a-generation occurrence where actually 2 star quarterbacks are probably available. Okay, Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson. Now, I would be really happy if the Bears got either of those quarterbacks. I would be really happy if they got Watson or Wilson, so either of them are fine with me. But right now, it's looking like it's more likely that Wilson is available for us because he also wants to be a Chicago Bears. So, guys, like, this opportunity does not come around every single year. So, obviously, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy, they're going to pounce on it. But yeah, guys, it's pretty much all the news I have for you today. Obviously, if we get more news in the coming days, I'll be coming out with more videos. So stay subscribed to this channel with notifications on if you want the latest news regarding the Russell Wilson rumors. But I'm excited, guys. Like, I'm not going to lie. I am really damn excited at the possibility that this may happen. I don't want to get my hopes up too high because there's a chance that we could be let down. There's a chance that this is not going to happen, obviously, because a lot of stuff does need to get worse in Seattle, okay? Then there needs to be more fights. There needs to be more of a falling out between Russell Wilson and Seattle for them to actually trade Wilson. But the possibility right now is definitely there, okay? He wants to be a Bear, and the Seattle Seahawks are actually entertaining trade offers as of now. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this actually happens, because if it happens, I'm going to completely lose my mind. Like, I won't even know how to react because, Guys, I've never experienced anything like this, okay? A star quarterback actually wanting to be a Bear, like what the heck? I mean, I really hope it happens. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below, but as always, bear down.